Hello there and welcome once again to Field Study, an exploration of food and the landscape. So today I'm out foraging in the Great British countryside and I'm going to introduce you to one of the most dangerous plants on the face of the planet. Stay tuned. Now, one of my favourite plants to forage for at this time of year is common hogweed. Now, common hogweed is in the wider Apiaceae family, or the carrot family, formerly known as the umbellifers. And in that family, there are some dangerous species. And we're going to meet one of them today. But first, let me introduce you to common hogweed, which is possibly one of the most delicious spring greens out there. So this plant that we have here is common hogweed, and as you can see it's like lots of other members of the carrot family. So it grows from a sort of basal clump in the ground, has these long leaf stems with a terminal leaf. The terminal leaf here is this beautiful trifoliate thing with these three lobes, and they are lobed, they aren't deeply notched, and then on each side of the leaf you've got these leaflets going down. I'll do a more in-depth identification video on hogweed when I do some recipes a little bit later on in the year. So going through spring like this is what you're after. So the young new leaf shoots from the inside, they're absolutely beautiful. They've got a sort of cardamom flavour. So one of the most important characteristics of hogweed, and telling it apart from its dangerous cousins, is this beautiful fuzziness. It's sort of got a fur, like a downy fur all over it. They're like little, beautiful, little fluffy hairs, which makes it look like a quite friendly plant, if you ask me, if a plant can be friendly. So you're looking out for this fluff, sort of covering the stalks and the undersides of the leaves. Even the leaves will have beautiful little white hairs on them. The stems themselves have got this beautiful watercolour wash of purple that runs all the way up them. And the important thing to notice here is this purple coloration is sort of a solid gradient that sort of fades out. It isn't splotchy in any way and isn't dotted. So this is common hogweed's dangerous cousin. This is giant hogweed, and at this time of year it can be mistaken for common hogweed. So as the name suggests, this rather diminutive looking plant, as it grows up, will grow into an absolute giant. It will put out a flower spike which is like 6 to 12 feet tall with a huge umbel of flowers on it, and these leaves will become big and glossy, and it will be easier to tell the difference between it and common hogweed. But at this time of year, when it's this size, it can be confused for common hogweed, so you need to know what you're looking for. Giant hogweed likes moist habitats, and down here on this landslip we've got plenty of springs and things that go down towards the sea, so it's nice and wet and moist for it here. So you'll always find it growing in damp habitat like this. So unlike common hogweed, the plant doesn't have lovely fluffy downy hairy stems. Instead it has these spikes, and instead of that beautiful purple watercolour wash up and down the stem, it has spots like blood spatters. So these are all ways that you can sort of remember, so you can differentiate. This looks like a more aggressive plant. It is spiky, it is rigorous, and it means business. And what makes this plant so dangerous is its phototoxicity. So if you were to touch this plant or crush it and get any of it on your skin, it will give you 3rd-degree burns. It increases your sensitivity to UV light, even when the sun's weak like it is today, and your skin will blister up. And that's not where it stops. Years down the line, you won't be able to expose that skin to the sunlight, and you'd have to keep on keeping your skin covered up, because it will repeatedly burn in that spot over and over and over again, giving you skin damage. So you can see at this stage that it certainly isn't a giant. The leaf is about the span of my hand. They do get much bigger than this as they grow up. But as you can see, the leaves are very, very sharply toothed. They are glossy. They don't have downy hair all over them. And it's a much more sort of aggressive, sawtooth looking leaf than the hogweed. You do get variation in common hogweed, but if you see anything that looks like this, it's worth closer inspection. So underneath here we have the young shoot, which isn't as closed up and fist-like as it is on common hogweed. If we take a look at the stem, it's covered in these little spines and red dots like blood splatters. So this is certainly one that you don't want to be coming home with you in your foraging bag, and it's also one that you should definitely steer clear of. This is on a footpath here, so I am trying to find a way to report this to someone that can remove it, because I walk up and down here to one of my fishing spots all the time, and as this grows big in the summer, it will sort of crowd out this area. I think this is in its first year of growth, because I have never noticed it down here before, and we certainly haven't got any of the huge flower spikes that you'd usually associate with giant hogweed. So I think this is in its first year, so if we can catch it and get rid of it before it flowers and goes to seed, then hopefully this area will be cleansed of it. Now, I don't promote the persecution of any species of plant. A weed is just a plant in the wrong place, goes the common adage, and this, due to its dangerous nature, is certainly in the wrong place. Now, this was by no means an exhaustive identification video on hogweed or giant hogweed. I just wanted to show you some of the differences between the two plants and give you sort of a visual reference for it. As with all members of the Apiaceae family, the carrot family, they are to be treated with caution. They are certainly not for beginner foragers, in my opinion, and that's purely because one wrong move could kill you. In the case of hemlock water dropwort, could make you very, very ill in the case of fool's parsley, or could give you life-changing injuries in the case of the giant hogweed that we've just seen. I guess it just serves as a reminder for all of us to go carefully when we're picking, be mindful when we forage, and bring our attention to the plants that we're interacting with. And that way we can all keep ourselves safe. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe for more foraging videos from this beautiful landscape. Until next week, take care.